Hello traders, hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I just dropped by to give you the weekly analysis on what I expect for this week from 9th, which is today Sunday, to 14th, right? Yeah, 14th there. So yeah, let's get into it. So first, let's start with the DXY. First, before even looking at the currencies, we need to look at the fundamentals. What news do we expect this week? So this week on Wednesday we have CPI and we have FOMC, so two red folder news events. And last week we also had NFP, and NFP was higher than forecasted with 90k more new payrolls created than forecasted. This shows that the US job market was doing is doing extremely well, related to strong economic. So bullish DXY, bearish gold, yeah, and you get. And then we had PMI, which was also higher than forecasted. This means inflation is higher than expected, which could lead to possible rate hikes, as previous months inflation data are more higher than forecasted, so causing Fed policymakers to have a shift in sentiment. So higher inflation equals possible rate hike equals bullish DXY equals bearish gold. Okay, so for CPI this week, what do I expect? So I'm expecting a continuation on DXY, thinking the Fed will be forced to hold rates into Wednesday's meeting. So Monday, Tuesday, gold bearish. Wednesday we wait and see. Okay, so that's on sentiment. So let's hop into DXY. Let's see what DXY has been doing. The technical aspect. So we are on DXY. Let's start from the weekly as usual. Remember, smart money looks at the week, monthly, weekly and daily charts. Okay, so this is DXY. I'll have one complaint about this chart, and this is something new I want to teach you guys. See here, we had two draws on liquidity, this low and this previous weekly low, right, on this candle. We tapped into this candle but didn't tap into this candle on this chart. But if we go to another chart, DXY, let's use capital markets. What do we see? We see that we hit this draw on liquidity. So this is a new thing. Most new traders don't understand that charts vary, so you have to be careful even when selecting brokers. Some brokers like Xauusd sometimes over manipulate the market, like on this week was on US 500, US tech, the one was trading last. They over manipulated price by so many pips, and most brokers' price never even reached there. So that's something to look for when you're trading. So on the normal charts it will only show you we hit this draw liquidity, but we took both this one and this one, previous weekly low and this liquidity here. So back to the chart. So what do we expect? So on the weekly, as we can see, on the weekly we can see that prices failed to close below but hit the key level. So we expect the range high to be taken out, and turtle soup is confirmed by SMT. So the range high we expect, we have this range high and this range high. And when we looked at the other charts, what did we see? Prices entered the fair value gap. There's a fair value gap here, as you can see. On the weekly, prices entered the fair value gap. So with SMT, we confirm that prices now are headed towards these ranges. So let's fall down to the daily time frame and see what we expect. So on the daily time frame, I wait for fair value gap to get formed, because fair value gap has to be formed when this candle closes and the next candle opens. So we'll use so we expect maybe something like this, a fair value gap, but it hasn't formed yet, so let's wait for fair value gap to form, and we wait for price to retrace at least to the 50% of the fair value gap that will be formed here. Okay, and remember, this is an engulfing candle. It is engulfed this, it is engulfed this. You know, the low was taken out of this and it's closed above all this. So very good setup. So the congregate encroachment, right, 50%. So 50%, then we continue higher. So that's my analysis on DXY. Remember, I'm only analyzing 7 pairs today. So next we hop onto Euro USD, or we hop onto gold first. I know you guys love gold, and my analysis hasn't been wrong on gold for the last like 4 months. Imagine, like, every move was anticipated. So let's start from the weekly. So on the weekly we have tapped what did I tell you guys last time about gold? I think we just have to start from the 4-hour. Based on my previous weekly analysis of last week, what did I tell you guys will happen to gold? And did it happen? That's the question. So yes, it did happen. So last week we were here, I told you guys, last week but one, on the previous weekly analysis, the last week but one, that we were here. I told you ICT order block will push prices, might push prices into this area. I marked it out because there's a lot of sellers here, and why? It's an order block. And remember, there was a trend line that I drew on my last week but one previous analysis. I told you trend line retest was here, so we broke below. So I know retail traders were looking at this area, and I told you there'll be a lot of liquidity there, so I just had to mark it out. I didn't trade it, but I marked it out as explained before, and prices entered there, and we saw a drop to the downside. And I told you expect a drop to the downside, a move higher to a higher PD array up here into the premium, because remember, this is a discount. When you measure this move from here to here, this is in the discounted area, so we wanted prices to push to a premium area, premium PD array, and then we can have our sell. And that's what I told you last week. Expect markets to push higher. That's why we were here actually last week. Told you expect this move higher, then the drop. Okay, and exactly that's what we're seeing. And we remember we have a turtle soup here, and we also have a turtle soup here. So what do we expect? Where are we targeting? Remember, we have drawn liquidity down here. I told you the C wave, this low here is a drawn liquidity. Told you last week it was a possible drawn liquidity, the P, but now it's a sure drawn liquidity. And we also have this internal range liquidity down here, monthly low, so that can also be a target. We also have a fair value gap here, so let's see what will happen. So we're bearish, at least that's what we know until CPI. We're bearish. So how can we formulate a trade on gold? So there's a breaker block here. So this was a turtle soup. Price is pushed above here. Remember this area I once told you we sold from here, the one I gave you weeks before, and it was like a sure bet trade, and anyone could have won this trade. We saw prices go back to that area and reject, so prices went to collect the stop losses. You know, the stop losses of traders are a bit here, so liquidity was collected with this week, and prices pushed to the lower side. So we have a breaker block, so maybe this week we can expect prices to move like this, to move higher to the 50% of this breaker block before we continue downwards. So that's what we'll see this week. We'll be waiting for that. So you can formulate a trade. That's a trade idea you can take on gold. So the 50%, the CE congruent encroachment. I'm sorry, I don't know how to spell that word. And we have fair value gaps here. So it's a high probability trade. So hope you'll be looking at that. Then we can go to another pair, USD Swiss. This pair is the first pair I started analyzing on this channel. and I was happy when I saw my area hold price. I don't know why my internet is so laggy today, man. I don't know what's wrong with my internet provider today. Hello guys, so I'm back. I think I fixed the internet issue now. So this is the first pair I started analyzing with you guys, and so far so good. Last week we closed out our shorts, the ones we have been holding since this POI, the October POI. Remember, our first trade we ever took was here when we were growing the account, but now I'll start a new account. I told you, I promised you I'll start with a $1,000 account. Last time we started with a $5,000 account. This time I'll start with a $1,000 account. So I have real Xmas accounts here, so I'll be using this one, the last one. The last one has 1,000. So this is what we'll be focused on, and that's what we'll be growing. $1,000. We see how far we can go. Okay guys, so yeah, but the other account we reached $1 million, so from 5,000. Took us some months, but yeah. So on this USD Swiss pair, we got to see, I told you guys the next trade will be here, the next high low, the buy entry, and look what prices did. I gave out this setup 2 months and I marked it out. Even I told you guys a pending order and everything. Look what happened. Prices came here last week and we got to see how prices reacted. You know, see prices pushed up, I think by the help of news, right? We had this huge move to the upside. So maybe a retracement to 50%, retracement to 50%, then we continue, we'll see. So something to keep in mind, a very good trade. Remember, I told you guys we're targeting now the range, the next range target. Very good trade. 1, 2, 3, now the 4th successful trade. And I'm in the trade already, actually. I'm in the trade. So yeah, very good. So my next setup will be on CAD Swiss, also CAD Swiss. I have a very good setup there. Let's start from the weekly. It's been long since I traded this setup, this pair. It's been very long. Let's start from the daily. It's been long. I think the last time I ever traded this pair was last year. Yeah, it was last year around August, but now I found a very good trade here. So we have internal range liquidity, which is gonna get taken out this maybe this coming week. Then we target the other range. So this is what I expect. We have accumulation already. Prices are accumulating. So maybe a manipulation taking out this internal range liquidity, then a reversal to the upside, distribution. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? Targeting this high. So that's a very good trade you can look at your free time. So that's just all with CAD Swiss. Then the next trade I want to look at is Audjpy. I think Audjpy is just SMC at this moment. It's just a matter of continuing with the trend. Nothing big, nothing much. So we're breaking lows and liquidity. We can see order flow is pushing to the downside. So you can formulate a trade like this. Remember, this is our closest target, low hanging fruit, drawn liquidity. So maybe prices to react from here, see prices push here and continue with the order flow. So you can formulate a trade here. So you'll see if prices enter here and we have a change of a change in order flow on the lower time frames, we can formulate a trade targeting the downside. So that's all with Audjpy. Nothing much to talk about it. Then we have Great British Pound USD. I don't have much on Great British Pound USD and Euro USD because on Euro USD I have to wait until Monday's candle closes so that I can make my plan, but I'm still bearish on that pair. But why not? Let's have a look at it. So let's see what has happened here. So as expected, I told you guys weeks ago in my previous analysis, we must take this high. That was the drawn liquidity or external range liquidity. We have SMT here with DXY. No, SMT with Great British Pound USD. Yeah, we have SMT here, and also on the higher time frame we have SMT all the way till here. From that high, from the high to this high. So just lots of confirmation at the moment. So what do we expect on this pair this coming week on this pair? So on Euro, on the weekly, prices failed to close above. Now we are inside the range, so prices failed to close. This is on the 4, but when you look at the daily, it's a week. So prices failed to close above. Now we are inside the range of the candle. Now we target the inside candle low. Okay, the inside candle low. So this will be our first low to target, and we can also target this low in future, but this is just a low hanging fruit. We can target it. So when we move to the daily, we see we had a huge expansion candle, so we expect prices to be choppy this coming week when markets open. So we can expect maybe prices to retrace until the 50% CE, then maybe move to the downside. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'll be looking forward to and expecting this coming week. So you can target this one and this liquidity, and you can target this sell side liquidity down here. Then Bitcoin, I haven't on Great British Pound, I have no setup. So we can go to Bitcoin. What's happening to Bitcoin? I love this pair so much. So on the weekly, we'll get to see we had SMT here, and we failed to close above this range here. Okay, so prices are within prices has been playing around this range. So if prices failed to close above, what do we expect? We expect bearish momentum to the downside, which partly is what I expect in the short term. So now what I expect is this fair value gap to continue pushing price. So this will be our first drawn liquidity. Then we'll have this drawn liquidity. So yeah, we expect prices to push lower. But when I look, or as you know guys, this is a market maker buy model setup. So we have to take these buy stops here. That's my final target. So what I think will happen is we'll have this accumulation. Yeah, we'll have that accumulation. Let me see if I can mark it out. We'll have that accumulation. Then we'll have the manipulation to my entry at that ICT order block. And then we'll have a distribution. That's my long run view on DXY. I just need news to, push it or something. So as you guys know, this is what I've been looking at and waiting for this setup for the past few days. So move to the downside, we hit this drawn liquidity, take this drawn liquidity, then we enter this ICT order block here. Then I'm formulating my trade like this. So I formulate my trade to be something like this ICT order block. Remember, it's validated because we also have a fair value gap, so it's strong to me. Push to the upside, targeting that high. So yeah, manipulation phase. Yeah. Then I told you guys you can formulate your trade something like this, because this is a protected low down here. There. We already moved from that zone. So this is just my view. So if we have future updates or anything, I'll always tell you, but I'm targeting this buy stop side. Okay, buy side liquidity. That's what I'm targeting. So that's my analysis on Bitcoin. Remember, market maker, buy model. So look into that. And we also have a fair value gap here. So yeah. So did I give you guys my analysis on Euro USD? Yeah, I've given you. We target this low and this low. So that's my analysis on Euro USD. I think I'm done. I'll update you guys in case I have any other weekly setup or something, because my analysis today was on 6-7 pairs: Euro, DXY, Gold, CAD, USD, Swiss. We had Audi, JPY. Yeah, that was just my analysis. So in case of anything else, you know, I'll update you guys. Have a nice trading week. Use risk management. Remember, this week will be focused on this account. Why is MT5 updating all the time? Every day is updating. Okay, let's start. I have no issue. So yeah, have a nice trading week. God bless you, and cheers.